We're trying to get something done. Or even in the workplace, they're like, Lisa, go ask Erin, because she'll listen to you. Well, why does she listen to me? It's called leverage. And I find that when people say they're not going to play the game or they're being hard, it's because they lack self-awareness. And if you have no self-awareness, you will never understand what you bring to the table. You will never understand your leverage because you're too busy fighting people for respect. You're too busy fighting for fairness when that is not the reality.
Hey there, my name's Ashley Church.
And I'm Erin West.
We were once newly promoted crime scene and latent print supervisors on mutual struggle buses as we both simultaneously tried to navigate through the challenges within our forensic units.
Now we run a business where we create tools and resources that we wish we had had to make these transitions easier. We like to talk about the experiences we've had in the forensic field, the good, the bad, and the ugly, in the hopes to create awareness around these issues and move the needle forward to create positive change in the forensic community.
So if you're a forensic professional, regardless of your years of experience, who's not afraid to dive into real, raw, and sometimes uncomfortable topics, you're in the right place.
This is the Forensics Unfiltered podcast.
Hey there, welcome back to Forensics Unfiltered. We hope you are having a great summer so far and using that well-earned PTO to spend time with family and friends or to travel or knock something off of your bucket list. And hey, we really appreciate you bringing us along. Whether you're commuting to work, taking a walk, getting a workout in, folding laundry, whatever it is that you do while you're listening to podcasts, we just want to thank you for tapping play on one of our episodes. So we want to do something fun for you this summer because I don't know if you realize this, but National Forensic Science Week is just around the corner, which means our annual virtual summit is just around the corner. And this year is all about forensics on a budget. If you've never attended one of our virtual summits before, it's like a virtual conference, but better. I'll tell you, we have the best attendees. Everyone is so engaged and excited and cheering each other on and helping each other out. And what we've decided to do to get you pumped up and excited for this year's summit, we're going to do a special countdown series to the podcast where we'll feature interview-style presentations from the 2024 summit. This will give you a little sample of topics we've covered in the past summits, so you know generally what to expect at this year's summit. To kick things off for this countdown series, we're sharing a fan favorite from last year's summit, featuring Coach Lisa from No Nonsense Training Solutions. And she's dropping some gems on how to use leverage to empower your forensic team. And if you love this presentation, there are 20 more presentations just like this in the All Access Pass. You can grab all of the replays from last year's event for $197. But let me give you an insider tip. We just dropped the entire All Access Pass inside of the vault, along with the summits from 2022 and 2023. I know which one I would choose because the vault is our most affordable option when it comes to training. Anyway, enough of me talking. Let's see what Coach Lisa has to say about using leverage to empower your forensic team. Before we start this episode, our guests would like to share a disclaimer that the opinions shared are their own and not representative of their current or past employment. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Welcome back to the Forensic Supervisor Success Summit. We are so excited to have you guys back here with us. And we have a very special guest with us today. If you guys attended the Forensic Supervisor Success Summit last year, you got to meet Miss Coach Lisa Gilbert from No Nonsense Training Solutions. And she's back by popular demand. You guys loved her. You've brought her out to your departments all over the country this year. And so we had to have her back to talk some more supervisory skills this year. So Coach Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I'm just so happy to be back again. And we got such great feedback from the last time you and I were together. It's like, Erin, we just did that dynamic duo thing, you know. I just had such a great time in the places we visited across the country. It's been amazing. So I'm so glad that we're able to help. We're just honored to be here again. And I'm excited to be a part of this conference. I really am.
Hey, we love having you here. So for those that have attended who have not yet met Coach Lisa, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, the name of my company is No Nonsense Training Solutions. We have been in business for 26 years, actually this month in July. I am a consultant to public safety, and our areas of expertise are wide, but mainly leadership development, conflict resolution. We do anger management things, stress management, those types of, they call them soft skills, but in my mind, they are very, very necessary skills in organizations, especially right now, because they're things dealing with people. And we know people have to make things go. So that's what we do. And we travel the nation doing that. So it's law enforcement, corrections, fire, and we do sworn and professional staff. We don't call them civilians, we call them professional staff because you all are professional. And so I met Erin about 2 years ago now, I think it's in a women's leadership class, and we just connected. We just connected. And I'm so glad she wouldn't let me off the hook. Thank you, Erin. Just she will not let you off the hook. She will not let you off the hook. But that's a good thing when someone sees something in you, and I do the same thing. So I see something in her, and I'm so glad to be able to come on and just partner and to share just some leadership wisdom and strategies to help you all do better. That's why we're here.
I love it. And I have to say, on a side tangent for this conversation, for those of you, if you've never taken one of Coach Lisa's classes, when I first went to her first leadership class, I felt like she really filled my cup. And I left the class just feeling very full, very, excited and energized about going back and applying those leadership skills. And I knew that I couldn't let her go from my life. So I kept reaching out to her like, Coach Lisa, don't forget about me. So I'm so excited 2 years later that we're still talking. So
absolutely. I'm glad you did. I always say, just chase me. But now it's like, I'm here. I'm here now. I'm here.
I love it. All right. So our conference this year, the theme of our conference is all about improving efficiency and productivity in your team. And the speakers have given all kinds of great nuggets on motivation and helping with burnout and, streamlining workflows and all of those different kinds of things. And so Coach Lisa talks about something in one of her classes that I just thought was the perfect topic for this conference. Because if you want to improve your processes and procedures and workflow and all of that, you need to be able to get your team the resources they need to do that, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things she talks about in class is something that she calls leverage. And until she spoke about it in class, this is something that I have always thought that I was pretty good at. I've been pretty good at being able to communicate with my chain of command the needs of my unit and get them the resources and equipment and tools and training that they need to do better at their job. But I didn't know what it was. I just was like, this is something I'm good at. And then when she talked about it in class, I was like, oh, a light bulb went on. And I was like, that's what it is. So Coach Lisa, what is leverage? And we'll just start there. What is leverage?
What is leverage? Well, let me back into it a bit. All of us work in these very dynamic work environments. They call it dynamic. It's called workplace politics. We're going to call it what it is. And so when you're in an environment where there's a lot of politics at play, you have to understand the game is there. And yeah, you have to play the game, but you have to know how to play the right way. We're not doing underhanded stuff. We're not doing dirty things. We're not throwing people on the bus. That's not what we're talking about. But politics is just people being able to get things done for the department and for themselves. It's the ability to network. And so the fallacy that everybody has is they look for everything to be fair. So when somebody doesn't get what they want, oh, that wasn't fair, or they don't get promoted, oh, that wasn't fair. And so we walk around like that. And I understand what fairness means. It means to, to be impartial about things. And even this sense of equality. But when I say that in class, people look at me like I have two heads. I said, but we're not equal, not like that. Because like you and I, Aaron, we're very similar, but there's strengths you have that I don't have. And there's strengths I have that you don't have. So that's what makes the team complementary. So I teach leaders, uncommon leaders. That's wording that I use, because uncommon leaders think differently. So we don't look for fairness. Like we tell children, what do we tell children? When they come home, mommy, daddy, that wasn't fair. What do we say? Life's not fair. So why don't we apply the same thing to ourselves as adults? So what I've learned after reading and studying, and there's a book called Workplace Politics, I read it. It was amazing. And I just started looking at it within public safety, that I don't need fairness because I have leverage. Oh, leverage is when I have the advantage or the upper hand at something. And so just like you said, Aaron, you knew you did these things well. It's like your skill is your strength, but now there's terminology to apply to it. So leverage is when I have an upper hand. Leverage is when I have an advantage. When we look at the workplace and it seems like people are getting ahead, how are they doing that? They have leverage. They have an upper hand somewhere. And so it's being able to understand what that is and how to build your leverage the right way. So I want to say, to break some mindsets, and this is a Coach Lisa-ism, I need everybody to understand longevity doesn't mean promotability. Let's go. You need leverage. Did you hear what I just said? Okay, I feel like I'm in class already. You need leverage. You need leverage. Just because you come to work every day on time and really do your job, yeah, but you need some leverage. And so what is leverage? And so what I do is talk a little bit about it. I'm not going to give you all of it, but I'm going to give you some. Again, the workplace is not fair. And people get ahead by doing some things. And I'm talking about doing it the right way. So I talk about it. You have leverage when you have a higher position than somebody else in the department. It's an upper hand. You have leverage when you have like departmental status. People know your name. You have leverage when you are a subject matter expert. Did you know that? So that means people come to you because you have something to give them. You have leverage because you bring value to the table. You have leverage because you're hard to be replaced. I didn't say you couldn't be replaced. You're hard to be replaced. And so those are the things we talk about. And when I go through that, just like with you, Aaron, it's interesting that people are like, oh my gosh. And I made people go down the list to say, now, let's look at you have leverage when you have people in leadership positions in your network. It's called leverage, but you just have to use it the right way. You don't do the underhanded things. And that's the power of knowing what your leverage is, or having leverage, knowing what it is.
I love that. Because I do think sometimes leverage can have a negative connotation, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because see, normally when we hear the words workplace politics, the first thing that comes to mind is brown nosing, sucking up, favoritism, nepotism, all the negative stuff. And we all feel it, people playing the games that we talked about. So it does have a negative connotation when you use people in your network for the wrong reasons. Yeah. When you use your expertise, you can use expertise where I don't tell this person, but I tell another one. It's called wrong use of leverage, right? Or a lot of people do information hoarding. It's called wrong use of leverage, or we try to manipulate people. That's wrong use of leverage. And that's something I do not encourage. And we see it all the time. We see people that get into positions of authority, they get into a leadership position because they know the right people. Leverage. The problem is when they get there, they can hurt a department. Oh, that's a whole conversation. that's a whole I can, and I know some of you right now are like, oh my gosh, I know them right now. I said, please don't go tell them Coach Lisa talked about them. Don't you do that. Don't do that. Leverage is important because when you talked about getting the resources you need, right? When you have the right kind of leverage has this ability to help you get things done. Leverage has this ability to help you, to connect you to the right people to get the right answers you need to get done. So like if you have somebody blocking you that won't share information because they're playing it the wrong way, When you have leverage in your network, you can find people to help you. Did you hear what I said? The can't is not a word in my vocabulary. It can be done. I just got to get to the right person. Leverage gets me around all the roadblocks that people try to do. You heard me, Aaron. You heard me.
Yes. I live by this rule. So
Yep.
it's so funny to hear you say this stuff because I'll hear a lot of supervisors in our classes and stuff like that who will ask for something, be told no, and they'll never ask again. And I really never take no for an answer. Like kind of what you just said is I'm going to come at that problem 15 other ways until I hit the right person, the right time, the right
Yep.
way for it to be said to make that solution happen. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I've always done that in my career where I'll just circle back around, or, the leadership changes all the time. So I'll wait for the next person to come in, or I'll build a web or a network somewhere else that allows me to get that resource, even if it wasn't through the first path that I asked. So
Oh yeah, that's the only way I can do business. I have to reach out to people to get things done. I remember it was a while ago. I was having a class in another place, and nobody. It seemed like nobody was signing up. I figured out what was going on. It was being blocked because I wasn't the selected one. So somebody was blocking it. I started putting out feelers. I just started sending out the flyer directly. I say, hey, I need you to help me fill up this class. Can you help me fill up the class? Can you help me fill up the class? Let me tell you something. We went from 12 people to 40 in 2 weeks. Huh? And it's only because we bring an excellent product. It's not because people just like me. It's bigger than that. It's because they see that we bring something that can help the employees. So I try to make it very clear. It's great that they like you. That's not a bad thing. It's great that you can get along with people. That's leverage. But when you get results, when you operate with excellence, when people can trust your character, all of that is leverage. And I've said it in class and I'll say it here. I have never not gotten a contract. And I'll say this because I'm a woman or a Black woman. I've never not, I only didn't get a contract because I didn't have what they needed. See, that's my mindset. I'm not thinking about it in terms of the surface things. I'm like you, Aaron. Let me circle back again. I didn't have what they wanted, okay, or I don't have the expertise. I can get with that, and then leverage is still in my court. Then I can determine if I want to do that. Oh, that's another level of it. I can determine if this is what we really want to engage in. So I tell leaders all the time, never fall back on external. What is it that you bring? You have attributes, you have skill, you have ability, you have connections. You need to nurture it, build it, protect it. Your reputation, that's a big one. Your reputation and your character. What's your leverage? Mm-hmm.
okay. So we've been talking about leverage, and you brought up kind of the political game. You touched on that a little bit. So what about those supervisors out there who are watching this right now and they're like, I don't want to be part of the game. So if you are resistant to that, like I'm not going to play in this ballpark, what kind of impact do you think that can have on your, maybe not even just your own career path, but obviously your team as well?
Hey, it's Ashley from Gap Science, and I had to hop on here and tell you something super important. I wanted to let all of our forensic friends know that we have something huge coming your way this September. But first, what we need to know is, do you currently feel stretched very thin? Feel like you don't have all the resources that you need, not just to do your job, but do your job well? Or like you're constantly being asked to do more with less? If this sounds like you, first, you are not alone. There are so many forensic units across the nation, worldwide, that are in the same boat. But most importantly, you are not out of options. We have created the Forensics on a Budget Summit just for you. This is a virtual event. You can think of it like a virtual conference, but better. Made just for forensic professionals at law enforcement agencies on small or tight budgets. Now, this is not for forensic units that are fully equipped with all of the fancy equipment and have an ample amount of people on their team. We are talking specifically to those that are working with the bare minimum or maybe even less than that. You'll hear from over 20 experts over a span of 4 days, sharing real practical strategies to get the most out of your budget. Everything from creative funding options to training hacks to tools to advocate for your unit and systems you can actually implement even when the answer is usually no. If this sounds good to you, I want you to head to www.forensicsonabudget.com. That's forensicsonabudget.com. And if you're listening to this before registration opens in September, then you will be joining our VIP waitlist and you will be the first to know when the free tickets are available. And if you're listening to this and the registration is already live, don't wait. Grab your free ticket. Yes, I said free, and join us in September for this one-of-a-kind summit built just for you. We are so excited and can't wait to see you there.
If you are resistant to that, like I'm not going to play in this ballpark, what kind of impact do you think that can have on your, maybe not even just your own career path, but obviously your team as well?
Well, I will tell them if they're a supervisor, they played the game somewhere. See, everybody's always looking at the negative. And if you look up the word politics or workplace politics, it simply means the strategies that people use to get things done for themselves and the organization. There is nothing wrong with that. And it's also the ability to network, to get things done for your organization. That's what it means. So for those of you, I can understand that you don't want to play the dark game. I agree. You should not be throwing people under the bus. You should not be doing the control manipulation. But every day you walk into your workplace, you are playing the game. Now, what I see people do is say, well, Coach Lisa, I'm not playing the game. So now they become combative. People ask them to do something, they refuse because they don't want to, or they feel like people are taking advantage of them, or they feel like they just want to do what they want to do. And if a supervisor operates like that, I'm going to use a supervisor. If a supervisor is seen to be as not collaborative, so like we're supervisors together and I just don't want to work with you because I'm not playing in the sandbox with you. People see that. And what happens is you become branded as a problem. And then instead of looking at yourself as the problem, you can begin to think that people are targeting you. You begin to think people are jealous of you. I'm talking about men and women here. They wanted the position and you got it, so they're jealous. Well, that might be true, but that's not how you, quote unquote, play the game. And within public safety, we're in a political environment already. But I will tell you this, there's politics in families. Well, if you got a whole lot of brothers and sisters, it's always, okay, you go ask mama because she'll do it for you. It's called the game. What are we doing? We're trying to get something done. Or even in the workplace, they're like, Lisa, go ask Erin because she'll listen to you. Well, why does she listen to me? Why does she, what is it that I'm doing that's making, could it be possible I don't complain? Could it be possible that I bring solutions? Could it be possible that she trusts me with information? It's called leverage. And I find that when people say they're not going to play the game or they're being hard, it's because they lack self-awareness. And if you have no self-awareness, you will never understand what you bring to the table. You will never understand your leverage because you're too busy fighting people for respect. You're too busy fighting for fairness when that is not the reality. I don't need fairness because I have leverage. Leaders, you do not need fairness because you have leverage. My question to you is you need to sit down and determine, where do I have leverage? Where is the upper hand that I have? What do I do really well? Who trusts me? Who do I help and who helps me? There's a way to play it, and it's playing it above board, never below board. Let me say it that way.
And so what can the supervisors that are listening do to improve their skills in being able to build those relationships and be able to develop a network that they can use to leverage the resources and the things they need?
Going back to what I was saying, it begins with maybe I just need to develop myself in my area of communicating. What does my network look like now? Do I have people that I communicate well with, or am I a recluse? Some people just don't like people. I don't know how you're a leader and you don't like people, but there are people who would rather deal with things as opposed to people. But you're in that position to make a difference. So I would say the one thing I always encourage leaders to do is you need to know your professional self. What do you bring to the table? What are your strengths? So what are behaviors? What motivates you? And that could be an area right there. But definitely the area of emotional intelligence, because the area of social regulation is where you build networks. And some people don't build networks because they're not comfortable with themselves. They're not comfortable talking to people. They don't know themselves. They don't know their strengths or their limitations. And then other people, on the other hand, are so arrogant and so puffed up. They think it's all about them, and they don't realize how people may see them. We talked in the class about the ability to read the room. That's workplace politics. Yeah. You got to know when to talk and when to be quiet. Do you know the audience? Know your audience. All those things have to do with it. And you can only do it with training, development, and then being disciplined enough to practice what you've heard.
Well, those were some amazing nuggets. I hope that you guys will find them very useful. And if they would like to find more Coach Lisa, tell them where they can find you.
Well, you can visit our website. We have a website. It's, of course, no-nonsense-training-solutions.com. And so there you can see our calendar. We're constantly updating it, but you can see some things that we do there. I also have a podcast. It's called A No-Nonsense Wisdom Moment with Coach Lisa. You can find it on all the major podcast outlets, so Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those things. I hope you'll subscribe. We talk about some just very practical things like, don't let your reputation take you where your character can't keep you. Ooh, yeah, people got a great reputation, but the character is a problem. And if you want to send me an email, of course, reach out, Coach Lisa at nonon, that's NONON training.com. And I tell people I respond to my own emails all the time. We would love to hear from you. Yes, we do travel, and we're working on some virtual things right now. I have a virtual class coming up. Yay! We're starting our No Nonsense e-learning academy. And so the first class that we're rolling out, it's our No Nonsense Professional Development Boot Camp. You need to come join me. It's going to be 2 days, November 12th and 13th. All right. And we're opening it up to everybody. The link is below, so you can just go ahead and register, get your seat, book your seat, because it's going to fill up really quickly. I have limited spaces because the level of our engagement is very high. And so I want to make sure that I can give everybody enough time and the attention that they need. So what are we going to cover? We're going to talk about developing and leveraging your professional work style. Some of the things we talked about right here is assessment based. So you're going to complete a 3-part assessment prior to class, a DISC assessment, a driving forces assessment. We're going to look at why you do what you do, what motivates you, and your emotional intelligence. And when we get through, you're going to have a full composite of your professional work style. You're going to leverage it the right way. I promise you that. You're going to know what to do. So I hope you'll join me. Click that link below. And I hope to see you November 12th and 13th. Join me. Oh, wow.
Yay. And we all know that everyone here loves a good virtual training. So,
woo, virtual.
So check out her virtual boot camp. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. We loved having you as always, Coach Lisa.
Absolutely.
And for all of you, we hope you're having a great time at the summit, and we'll see you at the next presentation.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Wasn't that conversation so good? We just love Coach Lisa. Coach Lisa always delivers such powerful messages, and this one was no different. Leadership isn't just about titles. It's also about how you use your leverage. If this resonated with you, guess what? You can access all 21 presentation replays from the 2024 Summit right now inside the vault, plus hundreds of hours of other training videos, and you can get started today for just $29. And make sure to join us for the next episode in our countdown series to the Forensics on a Budget Summit, happening during National Forensic Science Week this September. Just head to forensicsonabudget.com. That's forensicsonabudget.com to get on the wait list or register for your free ticket. We'll see you there.
Thank you so much for being here and listening to Forensics Unfiltered. If you liked this episode, would you do us a favor and leave a review letting us know specifically what you liked about this topic? It will only take a minute, but it will really help us plan future episodes so we can bring you more topics that you want to listen to. We'll be sure to provide any links from today's episode in our show notes on our website. Head to www.gapscience.com. Until next time, stay safe out there.